The countdown continued as the crew of the Thunderstrike prepared for battle. Captain Park walked through the corridors of his ship, checking on his people. He knew that the next hour would determine whether humans would be seen as equals in the galaxy or as victims. In the engine room, Chief Engineer Mi-young Choi worked with her team to push the ship beyond normal limits. She was a small woman with quick hands and a brilliant mind. The fusion reactors that powered the Thunderstrike were already running at full capacity, but Choi knew they could do more. Redirect power from life support in unused sections. She ordered her crew. Reduce artificial gravity in non-essential areas by 20%. I want every bit of power we can get flowing to weapons and shields. Her assistant engineer looked worried. Ma'am, if we push the reactors too hard, they could overload. Choi smiled grimly. Then we better win this fight quickly. She had learned during the Titan Wars that ships could handle much more stress than their manuals suggested. The key was knowing exactly how far to push without causing a catastrophic failure. The ship's computer systems hummed louder as more power flowed through them. Warning lights blinked in empty corridors as life support was reduced. The Thunderstrike was becoming a weapon focused on one purpose: destroying the alien fleet. On the bridge, Dr. Jin-Woo Kim studied every detail of the alien ships. He was the ship's chief science officer, a quiet man who could understand complex problems better than almost anyone. His sensors gathered information about the enemy's technology. "Captain," he said, "I've found something interesting. Their plasma weapons are very powerful, but they operate on predictable frequencies. They charge their weapons in cycles, firing all together every 90 seconds. What about their shields?" Park asked. "Also predictable. They use rotating shield frequencies to defend against energy weapons, but I think our quantum torpedoes might be able to phase through their defenses. They've probably never seen weapons like ours." Commander Lee studied the alien formation on his tactical display. The 12 enemy ships had arranged themselves in a circle around the Thunderstrike. It was a formation designed to prevent escape and ensure that all their weapons could target the human ship at once. "Sir," Lee said, "they're using an old-fashioned siege formation. It works well against enemies who panic or try to run away, but if we can move fast enough, we might be able to turn their numbers against them." Park nodded. "Explain." "If we drop below their firing plane and attack from underneath, they'll have trouble targeting us without hitting each other. Their formation assumes we'll stay in one place and fight defensively." In the weapons bay, Weapons Officer Tae-hyun-yu prepared the ship's experimental arsenal. The Thunderstrike carried weapons that had never been tested in real combat. Rail cannons that could fire projectiles at incredible speeds, quantum torpedoes that could phase in and out of normal space, plasma lances that could cut through almost any armor. "Sir," Yu reported to the bridge, "all weapon systems are charged and ready. The experimental rail cannons are showing green across the board. Quantum torpedo tubes are loaded with full spreads." Communications Officer Ko intercepted more alien transmissions. She spoke several alien languages, having learned them from captured databases during previous conflicts with space pirates. Now she was learning to understand Vorthak communications. "Captain, they're getting impatient," she reported. "I'm hearing discussions about moving to attack positions. They seem surprised that we haven't tried to run away yet." "What are they saying about us?" Park asked. Ko listened to her headset. "They're calling us stubborn prey and ignorant creatures. They can't understand why we're not afraid of them." Park almost smiled. "They'll understand soon enough." In the Marine Bay, Master Gunnery Sergeant Bo-Ra Shin prepared her troops for possible boarding actions. Shin was a tough woman who had fought in ground battles on 3 different worlds. Her Marines were the best close combat fighters in the human fleet. "Listen up," she told her squad leaders. "These aliens think they're tough because they've conquered weaker species. But they've never faced human Marines. If they try to board our ship, we show them what real warriors look like." Her Marines checked their weapons and armor. Each one carried equipment designed for fighting in the vacuum of space, or inside enemy ships. They were ready for anything the aliens might try. Navigation Officer Nam plotted possible movement patterns for the coming battle. He was young but had excellent reflexes, and could pilot the massive ship with incredible precision. The Thunderstrike was not built for quick movements, but Nam knew how to make it dance. "Captain," he said, "I've programmed several evasive patterns. If we time it right, we can move through their formation before they can adjust their targeting." "Good work, Hyun-soo. Be ready to execute on my command." Park returned to his command chair and looked at the countdown timer. 23 minutes remaining. Around him, his bridge crew worked with quiet efficiency. They had trained together for years, and each person knew exactly what to do. "Jin-woo," Park said, "tell me about their psychology. What kind of species are we dealing with?" Dr. Kim studied the alien communications and behavior patterns. Based on their language and formation tactics, they appear to be a hierarchical warrior culture. They're used to winning through superior numbers and technology. They've probably never fought an enemy that refused to surrender or retreat. "That gives us an advantage," Park said. "They expect us to behave like their previous victims." Chief Gunner Yoon-seo Jung reported from the main weapons control center. She was responsible for coordinating all of the ship's offensive systems. Her job was to make sure that every shot counted when the fighting began. "Captain, I've synchronized all weapon systems for maximum effectiveness. When you give the word, we can deliver devastating firepower in the first few seconds of combat." Park knew that the first moments of the battle would be crucial. The aliens expected an easy victory, but humans had learned to fight dirty during centuries of warfare against each other. They would use every advantage they could find. "Yejin," Park said, "open a secure channel to fleet headquarters." Ko worked at her console. "Channel open, sir, but it will take 18 minutes for any message to reach Earth." Park recorded a brief message. "Fleet Command, this is Captain Park of the Thunderstrike. We have encountered a hostile alien fleet in the Kepler sector. 12 enemy ships are demanding our surrender. We are engaging under Article 7 of the Defense Protocol. If we do not survive, know that humanity faced its first alien contact with honor. Park out." The message would travel through space at faster than light speeds, but it would arrive too late to bring help. The Thunderstrike was alone, just like humans had always been alone in the universe. But that had never stopped them before. 15 minutes, Captain," Ko announced. Park stood and addressed his bridge crew. "In 15 minutes we will face an enemy that has conquered 17 star systems. They have never been defeated. They think humans are weak and cowardly. They're about to learn the most important lesson in the galaxy. Never underestimate a species that fought its way to the stars." Throughout the ship, crew members made final preparations. Engineers checked weapon systems one last time. Marines sharpened their combat knives. Pilots warmed up the ship's fighter craft in case they were needed. The alien ships moved closer, their weapons glowing brighter. On their bridges, Vorthak officers prepared for what they expected to be a quick and easy victory. They had destroyed hundreds of ships before. This would be just another routine conquest, but they had never fought humans before. 10 minutes remaining, Ko said. Park sat back in his command chair and watched the alien fleet on the main screen. Soon the galaxy would learn what happened when someone threatened the children of Earth. The outcome would echo through space for generations to come. Captain Dongmin Park stood on the bridge of the HSS Thunderstrike, watching the stars through the massive view screen. The ship moved slowly through the dark space of the Kepler sector. It was a routine patrol, the kind they had done hundreds of times before. The Thunderstrike was huge, almost 2 kilometers long, with thick armor and powerful weapons. It was one of the newest ships in the human fleet. Park was a tall man with short black hair and calm eyes. He had fought in the Titan Wars 20 years ago. Those battles had taught him that space was dangerous and that humans had to be ready for anything. His crew trusted him because he never panicked and always made good decisions. The bridge was quiet except for the soft hum of the ship's engines. Lieutenant Heejin Ko sat at the communication station, listening for any messages from other ships or space stations. Commander Sung-Ho Lee worked at the tactical station, watching the sensors for any signs of trouble. The rest of the bridge, crew did their jobs with the same calm focus that Park expected from everyone. Suddenly, Ko looked up from her station. "Captain, I'm getting strange readings on long-range sensors. Something big is coming toward us." Park walked over to Lee's station. "What do you see, Commander?" Lee frowned at his screen. 12 ships, sir. They're big, maybe cruiser class. I've never seen designs like these before. They're not human ships. Park felt his heart beat faster, but his face stayed calm. Aliens. It looks that way, sir. They're moving in formation and heading straight for us. Park had always known this day might come. Humans had been exploring space for 50 years, but they had never met another intelligent species. Now it was happening, and he had to be ready for anything. All hands. This is the captain, Park said into his comm. We have unknown ships approaching. All crew to alert status. This is not a drill. Throughout the ship, alarm lights began flashing yellow. The crew moved quickly to their stations. In the engine room, Chief Engineer Mi-young Choi checked all the ship's systems. In the science lab, Dr. Jin-woo Kim started scanning the approaching ships. In the weapons bay, Weapons Officer Tae-hyun Yu made sure all guns were ready to fire. The alien ships came closer. On the main screen, they looked like nothing humans had ever built. They were dark red and black with sharp edges and strange curves. They moved in perfect formation like they had done this many times before. Captain, Ko said, they're trying to communicate with us. Put it on the main screen, Park ordered. The image of space disappeared. Instead, they saw a creature that looked like a cross between a lizard and a bird. It had dark scales, yellow eyes and sharp teeth. It wore what looked like a military uniform with many medals and symbols. I am Admiral Velthara of the Vorthak Empire, the creature said in perfect English. You are in our space now, weak humans. We have been watching your pathetic species for some time. Park stepped forward. This is Captain Dongmin Park of the Human Stellar Navy. This sector is not claimed by any known government. We are conducting a peaceful patrol. The alien admiral laughed, showing more sharp teeth. Peaceful? How amusing. The Vorthak Empire has conquered 17 star systems. We have destroyed fleets 10 times larger than your single ship. You soft-skinned. Creatures should know your place, Lee whispered to Park. Sir, their ships are surrounding us. We're outnumbered 12-1. Park nodded but kept his eyes on the alien admiral. What do you want, Admiral? What I want is simple, Velthara said. You will abandon your ship immediately. You have 1 solar hour to evacuate in your small craft. After that, we will destroy your vessel and take it as a prize for the Empire. And if we refuse? Park asked. The alien's eyes grew brighter. Then you will die with your ship. The Vorthak have never lost a battle. We have weapons that can turn your metal ship into space dust. Your primitive technology cannot match our power. On his tactical screen, Lee could see the alien ships moving into attack positions. Each one was almost as big as the Thunderstrike, and there were 12 of them. Their weapons were already charging, creating bright energy patterns on the sensors. Captain, Dr. Kim said quietly, I'm getting readings on their weapons. They use plasma-based energy systems, very powerful, but they follow predictable patterns. Park nodded. Admiral Velthara, I need time to consider your offer. You have 58 minutes remaining, the alien said. Use that time wisely. It will be the last hour of your lives if you choose to fight us. The communication ended, and the main screen showed the alien ships again. Park looked around his bridge. Ko was checking communication systems. Lee was studying the enemy formation. The other officers waited for orders. None of them looked scared. They all knew this moment might come someday. Sung-ho, Park said. Analysis? Lee pulled up a tactical display. They're using a standard encirclement formation. Probably works, well against most enemies. Their ships are powerful, but they're not moving in any complex patterns. It's like they expect an easy victory. Jinwoo, what about their technology? Dr. Kim looked up from his sensors. Their ships are advanced, but I'm seeing some interesting things. Their shields operate on a specific frequency. Their weapons are powerful, but they take time to charge between shots. They're not used to fighting enemies who might fight back. Park smiled for the first time since the aliens appeared. Haye Jin, open a ship-wide channel, Ko nodded. Channel open, sir. All hands. This is your captain. We have encountered a hostile alien fleet that has demanded our surrender. They believe humans are weak and cowardly. They think we will run from a fight. They have obviously never studied human history. Park's voice was calm but strong. We did not come to the stars to bow down to bullies. We came here because we refuse to accept limits. Today, we show these aliens what humans are really made of. Throughout the ship, the crew prepared for battle. In the engine room, Choi began rerouting power to weapons and shields. The ship's fusion reactors hummed louder as more energy flowed through the systems. In the Marine Bay, Master Gunnery Sergeant Bo-Ra Shin checked weapons and armor, preparing her troops for possible boarding actions. Park turned to his tactical officer, Sung-ho. Begin tactical analysis of their formation. Look for weak points. Jin-Woo, I want to know everything about their technology in the next 50 minutes. Captain, Ko said, I'm intercepting their communications. They're very confident. They're already talking about dividing up our ship as a trophy. Let them talk, Park said. Confidence can be a weakness. Navigation Officer Hyun-Soo Nam looked up from his station. Sir, should I plot an escape course? Park shook his head. No, Hyun-Soo, we're not running. These aliens picked the wrong species to threaten. The minutes passed slowly. The alien ships moved closer, their weapons glowing brighter. Inside the Thunderstrike, every crew member worked to prepare for the coming battle. They had trained for this moment their entire careers, even though they had never expected to face aliens. Park stood in the center of his bridge watching his crew work. They were the best humans the fleet had to offer. They had survived wars against other humans which had made them stronger and smarter than any enemy could imagine. 45 minutes remaining, sir, Ko announced. Park nodded. The aliens thought they were giving humans time to be afraid. Instead, they were giving the most dangerous species in the galaxy time to get ready for war. The countdown reached 0. Admiral Velthara appeared on the main screen again, his yellow eyes gleaming with satisfaction. Behind him, Park could see other Vorthak officers preparing for what they expected to be a quick victory. Your time is up, humans, the alien admiral said. Since you have chosen death over wisdom, we will grant your wish. The Vorthak Empire will add your ship to our collection of trophies. Captain Park stood calmly in the center of his bridge. Admiral, you're making a mistake. You should have studied human history before threatening us. Velthara laughed, showing his sharp teeth. History? What can your short-lived species teach the mighty Vorthak? We have been conquering the galaxy since before your world learned to use fire. Then let me give you a lesson, Park said quietly. Humans don't surrender. The communication ended. On the tactical display, all 12 alien ships began charging their weapons. Energy readings spiked as plasma cannons prepared to fire coordinated volleys that would normally destroy any enemy vessel in seconds. All ships, attack formation, Velthara commanded his fleet. The Vorthak ships moved into perfect firing positions. Their plasma cannons glowed bright red as they reached full power. In a few seconds, they would unleash enough firepower to vaporize the human ship. But Park had been counting on exactly this moment. Now, Hyun-Soo, he commanded. Navigation Officer Nam's hands flew over his controls. The massive Thunderstrike suddenly dropped down below the firing plane, its engines roaring at full power. The movement was so fast and unexpected that the alien gunners lost their target locks just as they fired. 12 coordinated plasma volleys lit up space where the human ship had been a second before. The bolts of energy passed harmlessly through empty space while the Thunderstrike dove beneath the alien formation. Impossible, Velthara shouted from his flagship. How can such a large ship move so quickly? Commander Lee smiled grimly at his tactical station. Because, Admiral, you've never fought humans before. Yunseo, fire quantum torpedoes, full spread. Chief Gunner Jang pressed the firing controls. 6 quantum torpedoes launched from the Thunderstrike's forward tubes. These weapons used technology that the aliens had never encountered before. The torpedoes phased in and out of normal space, making them nearly impossible to stop with conventional shields. The torpedoes appeared inside the hulls of 3 Vorthak cruisers and detonated simultaneously. The explosions tore the ships apart from the inside. Metal twisted and atmosphere vented into space as the alien vessels broke up into burning debris. 3 ships destroyed, Lee reported with satisfaction. The quantum torpedoes phased right through their shields. On the alien flagship, panic spread through the bridge crew. They had just watched 3 of their most powerful warships die in seconds. Velthara stared at his tactical display in disbelief. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "Our shields should have stopped those weapons." His tactical officer was frantically checking sensor readings. "Admiral, those weren't normal torpedoes. They're using some kind of phase technology we've never seen before." Communications Officer Ko intercepted the alien transmissions and translated them for Park. "Captain, they're calling us demon spawn and impossible creatures. They can't understand how we destroyed their ship so easily." "They're about to get another surprise," Park said. "Taehyun, activate the rail cannons." Weapons Officer Yu had been waiting for this moment. The Thunderstrike's experimental rail cannons were humanity's newest ship-to-ship weapons. They fired solid projectiles at incredible speeds, using magnetic acceleration to achieve velocities that could punch through almost any armor. "Rail cannons charged and ready, sir." "Fire." The rail cannons launched projectiles the size of small cars at nearly light speed. The kinetic energy was enormous. 2 more Vorthak ships exploded as the projectiles tore through their hulls like paper. Metal and debris scattered in all directions as the alien vessels came apart. 5 ships destroyed, Lee announced. 7 remaining. Admiral Velthara's confidence was rapidly turning to fear. In less than 2 minutes, the humans had destroyed nearly half his fleet using weapons his people had never encountered. His tactical doctrine assumed that enemies would either surrender quickly or die slowly. He had never planned for this kind of devastating counterattack. "All ships, scatter formation," he ordered desperately. "Use evasive patterns. Don't let them target you." But the remaining Vorthak ships were still thinking in terms of conventional space warfare. They moved in predictable patterns that human tacticians had studied for years during conflicts with pirates and rebels. Navigation Officer Nam piloted the Thunderstrike through the alien formation like a fighter craft, even though the ship was almost 2 kilometers long. His movements were precise and deadly, positioning the ship for maximum firing efficiency while avoiding the aliens' increasingly panicked return fire. "Hyun Soo is flying this ship like it weighs nothing," Dr. Kim observed with admiration. "That's because he learned to fly by fighting other humans," Park replied. "We've been perfecting 3-dimensional combat for centuries." The alien ships were having trouble adjusting to the human tactics. Their weapons were powerful but slow to recharge. Their shields were effective against energy weapons but useless against the kinetic projectiles and phased torpedoes that humans used. "Captain," Ko reported, "I'm intercepting more alien communications. They're requesting reinforcements and calling for retreat authorization." "Too late for that," Park said grimly. "Jin Woo, what's the status on their remaining ships?" Dr. Kim studied his sensor readings. "Their formations are breaking down, sir. They're fighting individually now instead of as a coordinated fleet. Their weapon systems are overheating from rapid firing, and their shields are operating at reduced efficiency." Chief Engineer Choi's voice came over the intercom from the engine room. "Captain, all systems are running smoothly. We can maintain this level of combat operations indefinitely." Park nodded with satisfaction. The human ship was built for extended combat operations, designed by engineers who understood that real battles were often long and brutal affairs. The Vorthak ships, by contrast, were built for quick victories against weaker opponents. Their systems were already showing strain from the unexpected resistance they had encountered. "Yunseo, target their command ship," Park ordered. "Let's show Admiral Velthara what happens when someone threatens Earth's children." Chief Gunner Jang adjusted her targeting systems to focus on the alien flagship. It was larger than the other ships and covered with additional armor and weapons. It would be a challenging target, but humans had always excelled at taking on challenges that seemed impossible. "Sir, I have a clear shot with the plasma lance," she reported. "But we only get 1 shot before the weapon needs to recharge." "1 shot is all we need," Park replied. "Fire when ready." The plasma lance was the Thunderstrike's most powerful weapon. It required enormous amounts of energy and could only be used once per battle, but it could cut through almost any target. The weapon charged up, drawing power from the ship's main reactors. Admiral Velthara saw the energy build up on his sensors and realized what was about to happen. Evasive maneuvers, full power to forward shields. But it was too late. The plasma lance fired, creating a beam of pure energy that lit up space like a miniature star. The beam struck the alien flagship's shields and burned through them in seconds. The energy continued through the ship's armor and hull, cutting the massive vessel in half. The alien flagship exploded in a brilliant fireball that could be seen from light years away. Admiral Velthara and his entire command crew died instantly, their dreams of conquest ending in fire and debris. "Flagship destroyed," Lee shouted triumphantly. "6 ships remaining, and they're trying to retreat." The surviving Vorthak ships were fleeing in all directions, their formation completely shattered. But Park wasn't finished with them yet. He knew that if these aliens escaped, they would return with larger fleets and better preparation. "All remaining ships are attempting to reach hyperspace jump points," Nam reported from his navigation station. Park smiled coldly. "Not if I have anything to say about it. Set pursuit course, let's finish what they started." The 6 surviving Vorthak ships fled through space toward the nearest hyperspace jump points. Their once perfect formation was now scattered and broken. Ship commanders, who had been confident of victory minutes before, were now desperate to escape with their lives. Captain Park watched the fleeing aliens on his tactical display. He could have let them go, but he knew that would be a mistake. These creatures would return to their empire and report that humans could be defeated with better tactics and larger fleets. That could not be allowed to happen. "Yun Su, pursuit course," Park ordered. "Match their speed, but don't overtake them yet." Navigation Officer Nam adjusted the Thunderstrike's heading and speed. The massive human warship began following the fleeing aliens like a predator stalking wounded prey. The ship's engines hummed with power as they maintained pursuit. "Sir," Commander Lee said, "why aren't we destroying them immediately? We have clear shots on all remaining targets." Park smiled grimly. "Because, Sung-ho, sometimes the most important victory is not just winning the battle. It's making sure the enemy understands exactly why they lost." Dr. Kim monitored the alien communications. From his science station, "Captain, they're broadcasting distress signals on multiple frequencies. They're calling for immediate assistance from any Vorthak forces in nearby systems." "Are they getting any responses?" Park asked. "No, sir. The nearest Vorthak fleet is at least 6 hours away at maximum speed. These ships are completely alone." Communications Officer Ko looked up from her station with excitement. "Captain, I've managed to break their communication encryption. I can understand everything they're saying to each other." "What are they saying?" Ko listened through her headset for a moment. "They're arguing about what went wrong. Some are blaming their dead admiral for underestimating humans. Others are saying we must be using forbidden weapons that violate galactic treaties." "Forbidden weapons?" Park laughed. "Everything we use today was developed by human engineers using human science. There's nothing forbidden about being smarter than your enemies." The pursuit continued. The Thunderstrike stayed just behind the alien ships, close enough to destroy them at any moment but choosing not to. The psychological pressure was enormous. The surviving Vorthak crews knew they were being hunted, but they couldn't understand why the humans hadn't finished them off already. Chief Engineer Choi reported from the engine room. "Captain, all systems are operating at peak efficiency. Our weapons are recharged and ready. We can continue combat operations for days if necessary." "Excellent work, Mi-young. How are our experimental weapons performing?" "Better than expected, sir. The rail cannons showed no sign of wear, and the quantum torpedo systems are functioning perfectly. The plasma lance will be ready to fire again in 4 hours." Park was pleased. Human technology was proving superior to anything the aliens possessed. More importantly, human tactics and strategy were completely beyond the aliens' understanding. The fleeing Vorthak ships were approaching the edge of the star system where hyperspace jumps were possible. Once they reached that point, they could escape to other parts of the galaxy. But Park had no intention of letting that happen easily. "Yun-seo," he said to his chief gunner, "I want you to target the engine systems of those ships. Disable their faster-than-light drives, but don't destroy the ships completely." Chief Gunner Jang worked at her targeting controls. "Understood, sir. Precision shots to disable their hyperspace capabilities." The rail cannons fired again, sending kinetic projectiles. across space at tremendous speeds. The shots were perfectly aimed, striking the rear sections of 3 alien ships. The impacts disabled their hyperspace drives without destroying the vessels completely. The ships were now trapped in normal space, unable to escape. 3 ships disabled, Lee reported. The other 3 are still making for the jump points. The disabled Vorthak ships drifted helplessly in space, their crews knowing they were completely at the mercy of the human warship. Their weapons were still functional, but they had seen what happened to ships that tried to fight the Thunderstrike. Ko intercepted their communications. Captain, the disabled ships are requesting permission to surrender. They're offering to provide information about Vorthak military positions in exchange for their lives. Tell them to maintain position and await instructions, Park replied. We'll deal with them after we finish with the others. The 3 remaining alien ships reached the hyperspace jump points and began charging their faster-than-light drives. It would take several minutes for the process to complete, giving Park time for one final demonstration of human capabilities. Jinwoo, Park said, can you hack into their communication systems? Dr. Kim worked at his science station, using the ship's advanced computers to break through alien security protocols. I'm detecting their communication frequencies. Give me 2 minutes and I should be able to access their networks. Do it. I want to send a message to their entire empire. While Kim worked on the communication hack, Park prepared what might be the most important speech in human history. The first contact between humans and aliens was about to become a lesson that would echo across the galaxy for generations. I'm in, Kim announced. I have access to their fleet communication network. Any message we send will be broadcast to every Vorthak ship and base within 50 light years. Perfect. Hi, Jin. Open a broadcast channel. Ko activated the ship's communication systems. Channel open, sir. You're broadcasting to the entire Vorthak fleet network. Park stood in the center of his bridge and began speaking. His words would be translated by the ship's computers and broadcast across Vorthak space. This is Captain Dongmin Park of the Human Stellar Navy, speaking to the Vorthak Empire and any other species listening to this transmission. Your Admiral Velthara demanded the surrender of my ship and crew. He claimed that humans were weak and cowardly. He believed that your superior numbers and technology would guarantee victory. Throughout Vorthak space, commanders and admirals stopped what they were doing to listen to the human captain's words. This was the first time any of them had heard a human voice. Admiral Velthara was wrong, Park continued. In the last hour, a single human warship has destroyed 6 of your most powerful cruisers and killed your fleet commander. We did this using weapons and tactics that your people have never encountered before. We did this because humans do not surrender to bullies, no matter how many ships they bring or how confident they are. The 3 remaining Vorthak ships were still trying to complete their hyperspace jumps, but their crews were listening to every word Park spoke. Let me tell you what you are really facing, Park said, his voice carrying across space to reach thousands of alien ears. Humans are the species that conquered their own world before reaching for the stars. We are the children of warriors, survivors, and explorers who refuse to accept any limits. We have been preparing for this moment, our entire evolutionary history. Weapons Officer Yu had been quietly targeting the remaining ship's hyperspace drives. At Park's signal, he fired precision shots that disabled their escape systems just as they were about to jump to safety. You came here expecting to find weak prey, Park continued. Instead, you found predators who have been hunting each other for millions of years. You brought superior numbers and technology, but we brought superior tactics, strategy, and the absolute refusal to be conquered by anyone. All 6 surviving Vorthak ships were now disabled and drifting in space. Their crews waited in terror for the human captain to finish his speech and decide their fate. This is your only warning to the Vorthak Empire and any other species considering aggression against humanity, Park said in conclusion. We do not seek war, but if you bring war to us, you will face not just destruction but complete defeat. We are humanity, and we fear nothing in the darkness between the stars. The transmission ended. Across Vorthak space, military commanders began urgent meetings to discuss what they had just witnessed. The humans had not just won a battle, they had shattered the myth of Vorthak invincibility with a single engagement. Park sat back in his command chair and looked at his crew. They had just changed the course of galactic history. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe, and every species that heard this broadcast would know that Earth's children were not to be underestimated. The battlefield was silent now except for the soft hum of the Thunderstrike's engines. 6 Vorthak ships drifted in space, their hyperspace drives disabled, and their crews waiting to learn their fate. The debris from the 6 destroyed ships glittered in the light of distant stars like a monument to alien overconfidence. Captain Park studied the tactical display on his bridge. The battle was over, but the real war was just beginning. How humanity handled this moment would determine whether they would be respected or feared throughout the galaxy. Park intended to make sure it was both. "Status report," he ordered. Commander Lee checked his systems. "All enemy ships are disabled and powerless to escape. We have taken no damage and suffered no casualties. All our weapons systems are ready, if needed." Dr. Kim looked up from his science station. "Captain, I'm detecting life signs on all the surviving ships. Total enemy survivors number approximately 4,000 Vorthak personnel." "What about their weapons?" Park asked. "Most of their offensive systems are still functional, but they're not targeting us. They seem to be waiting for instructions." Communications. Officer Ko monitored the alien transmissions. "Sir, they're broadcasting surrender requests on multiple frequencies. They're also sending distress signals to other Vorthak fleets, but the nearest reinforcements are still hours away." Park nodded. He had time to finish what he had started, but he needed to be careful about how he did it. The wrong decision here could start a war that might consume the galaxy. "Jin, open a channel to the lead surviving ship." The main screen flickered and showed the bridge of a Vorthak cruiser. The alien captain was a female with dark green scales and frightened yellow eyes. She wore a military uniform that looked torn and dirty from the battle. "I am Captain Zexara of the cruiser Nightfang," she said in broken English. We request terms for surrender. Our admiral is dead. Our fleet is destroyed. We do not wish to die for nothing." Park studied the alien officer. She looked young and scared, nothing like the arrogant Admiral Velthara who had demanded human surrender less than 2 hours ago. "Captain Zexara," Park said calmly, "you came here to destroy my ship and kill my crew. You called humans weak and cowardly. Now you want mercy from the species you intended to slaughter." The alien captain's eyes filled with what might have been tears. We were following orders. Admiral Velthara told us this would be an easy victory. He said humans were primitive and would surrender quickly. We did not know." "You did not know what?" Park asked. "We did not know that humans were warriors like us, but better. Your weapons, your tactics, your courage. We have never faced anything like it. Please, Captain Park, we ask for mercy." Park was quiet for a long moment. Around him, his bridge crew waited to see what he would decide. This was the moment that would define humanity's reputation in the galaxy. "Captain Zexara, I am going to make you an offer," Park finally said. "You and your surviving crews will return to Vorthak space. You will tell your leaders exactly what happened here. You will explain that humans defeated your fleet using superior skill and technology, not luck or trickery." The alien captain nodded eagerly. "Yes, Captain Park, we will tell them everything. But," Park continued, his voice becoming harder, "you will also deliver a message from humanity to your empire and any other species that might be listening." "What message?" Park stood up and looked directly into the alien's eyes. "Tell them that Earth's children are not victims. We are not prey. We are predators who have been hunting each other across our own world for millions of years. We came to the stars not as refugees or explorers, but as conquerors who refuse to be conquered." The alien captain was recording every word. Park knew that this message would spread throughout the galaxy within days. "Tell your empire that if they want peace with humanity, they can have it. We will trade with you, learn from you, and share knowledge that benefits both our species. But if you choose war, remember what happened to Admiral Velthara and his fleet." "We will remember," Captain Zexara promised. "Good. Now here's what's going to happen. I'm going to repair your hyperspace drives just enough to get you home. You will leave this system immediately and never return. If I see Vorthak ships in human space again, I will assume they are hostile and act accordingly. Chief Engineer Choi worked with her team to send repair instructions to the alien ships. It would take them several hours to fix their hyperspace drives, but they would be able to return to their own territory. While the aliens worked on their repairs, Park met with his senior officers in the ship's conference room. They needed to discuss what had just happened and what it might mean for the future. "Sir," Commander Lee said, "do you think letting them go was the right choice? They might return with bigger fleets." Park shook his head. "If we had destroyed all their ships, the Vorthak would only know that their fleet had disappeared. They might have assumed it was an accident or blamed pirates. By letting survivors return with the story, we make sure everyone knows exactly what humans are capable of," Dr. Kim agreed. "The psychological impact will be enormous. Every species in the galaxy will hear about this battle within weeks. Some will want to avoid us, others will want to ally with us, and some will want to test us," Chief Gunner Jang added. "This won't be the last time aliens challenge humanity." "Probably not," Park admitted, "but now they'll know what they're getting into. The next alien fleet that threatens a human ship will have to overcome fear as well as our weapons." Hours passed as the Vorthak ships repaired their hyperspace drives. Park used the time to file his report with fleet headquarters and prepare for the long journey back to human space. Finally, Captain Zexara contacted the Thunderstrike again. "Captain Park, our repairs are complete. We are ready to depart." "Very well, Captain. Remember your promise. Tell your people what you learned. Here." "I will never forget," the alien captain replied. "Captain Park, thank you for showing mercy to defeated enemies. Not all species would have done the same. Remember that too," Park said. "Humans can be merciful to those who show honor, but we are merciless to those who threaten innocent people." The Vorthak ships activated their hyperspace drives and disappeared in flashes of light. Within days, they would reach their home systems carrying news that would change the galaxy forever. Park returned to his command chair and addressed his crew. "Ladies and gentlemen, what we did today will be remembered for centuries. We didn't just win a battle, we announced humanity's arrival on the galactic stage. From now on, every alien species will know that humans are not to be underestimated." Throughout, the ship, crew members returned to their normal duties. The battle was over, but its consequences would echo across the galaxy for generations to come. 3 months later, the first alien diplomatic mission arrived at Earth. It was not Vorthak, but a species called the Altarians who had heard about the battle and wanted to establish peaceful relations with humanity. Within a year, 5 different alien governments had signed trade agreements with Earth. The Vorthak Empire never again sent military ships into human space. Admiral Velthara became a cautionary tale told in alien military academies about the dangers of underestimating unknown enemies. Captain Dongmin Park and the crew of the Thunderstrike became legends throughout the galaxy. But they considered their victory just another day's work. After all, they were human, and humans had been preparing for this war their entire evolutionary history. The message they sent that day was simple but clear. In the darkness between the stars, it's not the size of your fleet that matters. It's the size of your will to survive. And humanity's will to survive was stronger than anything the galaxy had ever seen. Earth's children had arrived among the stars, and they would never bow down to anyone.